Danny, David, how y'all doing?
What's up? What's up, Brandon?
Not much, dude. Just watch No Exits. So I'm sleeping with the lights on. I read the comments on YouTube. I went to the YouTube official trailer for No Exit, which has over 2 million views already, and everybody is sharing their love of the book. They're sharing their anticipation of the film, and it's really cool to see that. And so I wanted to ask you guys: do you guys ever pay attention to the fanfare? Do you ever? Does it make it more nerve-wracking if you do? Does it make it more exciting? A little bit of both. Danny, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, well, I just got excited off that one because we were all talking about, we were curious to see the trailer, and because there's so many possible reveals, and so that the moment that it dropped, I rarely do this, but I ran to the comment section, and it was just like everyone was like, "Oh, finally a trailer that doesn't give everything away, a trailer that's this," and there was just so much positive feedback, but of people that had watched the book before. That read the book. And it was just exciting to know that the story and its integrity of the reveals, which is so important to it, was maintained while also nailing other elements of a trailer that get you really excited about a film.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few trailers that give everything away. That was a very common comment. This was a good movie to save the spoilers for. I can't imagine watching it just knowing everything that's coming. David, I feel like you really, right out of the gate, I think more than anybody have this, you have to dive into this character who's just so different from you. My limited experiences with you that is different from you. Lars is he's a recluse. He's out there in the corner and he stands out for that reason. And I would love to hear from you. What were kind of the descriptors that you and Damien wanted everybody to kind of pick up on when they see this character who wants to be alone out there in this visitor center right away?
Yeah. Well, I read the book right after, and I was like, oh, we're doing something a little different than the book, in my opinion. I think Lars is, it's written from such Darby's perspective, and then when you come in as an actor, you're doing the whole movie through your perspective. So as me as Lars, I really tried to, I'm sitting there, finding him and myself where I felt uncomfortable, where I felt like the loner, the one who's not, but who kind of wants to be around and wants to be connected. For me, a lot of what Lars is the interesting part is there's the initial perspective of who he is, and then you get to hopefully throughout the movie see a whole different dimension of him so I knew what as we were going through the hair and out the makeup and my audition, I had all that hair. I was like, they're gonna see us in this way, but can we take the onion and unroll it through the film and see a different side of this person? And for me, that's a big part of what the film is. It's about seeing these characters who are often judged or seen as two-dimensional and opening them up to a third dimension by the end of it. And that reveal in all of them have secrets. All of them have subconsciouses that are different yearnings or, and for me, for Lars, that was a really big part of I knew the character was going to judge me, the audience, and I wanted to play with that throughout the script.
That's fun. Now, I remember during the press conference, Danny, you were talking about how during the 2-week quarantine period when you arrived in New Zealand, that's kind of when you started to really tap into Ash and who he is and who we know he becomes or learn about him throughout the film. And I was thinking about stories like Heath Ledger when he played the Joker. He kind of went down such a crazy hole to find this character and define a darkness and also a charm. And how far do you have to go to and how do you do it to tap into that when you're isolated?
So the big early on, because of Heath, and it was also around 2 weeks that he was in the cabin. It was in the back of my mind, except because it was government regulated quarantine, I knew that I just had to be careful with the extent I went to, because if I wanted out, I couldn't. I'd still have to stay in the space. So I had to be very cautious in that, and I brought it up to Damien and to Scott. I was just in the lengths of going for it, knowing just the history of locking yourself up, it was just knowing that I didn't have the choice to kind of back out. So all the source material that Damien and I had talked about prior and all the conversations we had for a month before going into quarantine, then suddenly that's all I have to kind of work in the space with. But it was kind of cool in a nice little safety buffer, which is, sorry, not right now.
Mom, I'm working.
I'm in a hotel right now, but it was knowing that there was a a safety buffer because Frank was literally next door to me in the hotel. It was just like we could hear each other's phone conversations. So it was cool to kind of like be able to go for it and then kind of like put my feet back on the ground and just kind of almost just build the engine that was going to take off for the movie. And it was then cool to then start shooting the movie and have that engine like on idle until like it's time to rev it up. But yeah, it was something I definitely kept in mind about.
What an experience that must have been, man. Well, good job with it. And David, Lars is, I won't spoil anything, maybe witness to, maybe involved in some very violent, deeply intense, intimately visceral sequences that come up and out throughout the film. And I talked to Havana. She said some people just would like want to take a breath on set. Was there anything that you felt kind of how Lars feels in a lot of that stuff? Because he shows a bit of apprehensiveness to some of what's happening. Did you ever kind of relate to that while on set, even though obviously you guys are acting it out? You were like, wow, we're pushing it here.
Yeah, I try to use everything that I'm feeling on set in the character. And it was very easy on this one because Lars and David, even though we're very different, I would feel similar to what Lars was feeling. So like that was, anytime I felt uncomfortable, I'd be like, all right, that's what Lars is feeling. That's what I'm feeling. Allow myself just to be in that place. So definitely.
Nice. So, Danny, I thought it was ironic that you have a conversation as Ash with Dennis Haysbert's Ed about kind of respecting or disrespecting veterans. And then you've now played a military character in the Marvel universe. Did any guys, I know Dennis has plenty of experience with veterans, the USO and stuff like that. Did anything from your experience with No Exit and Dennis and that character interaction inform anything you think you might do in the Marvel world with a new perspective?
Well, I think I've played 3 servicemen before. One in This Is Not a War Story, now in Top Gun, and then in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I think it was a loaded moment, just knowing how much that all meant, and knowing the daggers that would really mean in the space. And I think that's and then also I think speaking with Dennis more so is where I learned different ways into different characters. In the military space and servicemen. But it was definitely something that was like, it was knowing that it was a stick of dynamite that was being put on the table by even just, I'm not even saying who said what, but
yeah. That scene was powerful. You guys that was really, really well done. And I got to ask, have you tried out any wings recently?
I can't confirm, deny, do anything, say anything. But
that was them knocking on the door.
That was literally them saying, "Remember."
That was Feige in the background, like,
No, there's a bunch of I'm in Medellin right now, and there's a bunch of buildings out here, so you never know which window they're looking in from.
That's it. Don't get Tom Hollanded. You might end up in the biggest movie ever. For spoilers,
he just got a Porsche, right? He just got gifted by Porsche. So
yeah, that's true. He
just got through battle he's doing.
Thank you so much for your time, and I got to get in touch with whoever dressed you guys, or if it's yourselves, because you both look super fresh today.
Thanks.
Sure.
Back at you.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man, the great shirts here, honestly. Let's go.